Half of America is empty, and it's not because people fear open land. It's because there are states that Black Americans avoid like the plague. Vast areas where you could shout and hear your own echo because there's no one around to respond. But behind that silence lies a chilling truth: a lack of community, opportunity, and even the feeling of being truly seen. Why do Black people say, "I wouldn't live there even if it were free"? In this video, we'll uncover why these 10 states in America are overlooked, not just because of their cold climate, but because of the coldness within the heart of their communities. Number 10. Vermont, when beauty can't hide loneliness. Vermont used to represent tranquility, with its expansive fields and slow-paced lifestyle. But now, the reality is different, isolated not only geographically but culturally and socially. Vermont, with a population of just around 650,000, has a Black community making up only 1.5%. To put this into perspective, the entire Black population here could comfortably fit inside a football stadium. This number isn't by chance. Maria, a Black woman who relocated from New York, described feeling like she had stepped into another world, one lacking community, culture, and shared relationships. No barbershops, no festivals or events celebrating Black culture, just empty streets and shops that close by 6 p.m. Vermont's story isn't random. Historical systemic racism has created massive disparities in opportunities between communities. Although this state prides itself on being progressive, poverty and unemployment rates among Black people remain high, and job opportunities are limited. Can Vermont maintain its peaceful image when communities like Maria's still feel abandoned? Can we bridge these gaps, or will we allow this division to persist? What can we do to make Vermont genuinely inclusive? Number 9. Wyoming, where you can hear the sound of loneliness. Wyoming is so vast and empty that even your phone gives up trying to find a signal. With only about 580,000 people, it's the least populous state in America. Even more striking, less than 1% of residents are Black, far too few to form any meaningful community or cultural network. Here, you can drive 80 miles and see nothing but cows and mountains. Winters are brutally cold, blanketing the land in snow, with winds so fierce they seem determined to blow everything away, including any desire to stay. Yet, for many Black people who move here, the physical cold pales in comparison to the emotional chill they experience. Isolation, emptiness, and a profound feeling of not belonging. Wyoming lacks significant cultural markers for Black Americans. No recognizable community, no familiar churches, no barbershops, no spaces for storytelling and connection. One former resident said, "I could walk for a week and not see anyone who looked like me. It felt like I was never invited to this place." Wyoming's natural beauty is breathtaking, but for many Black Americans, it misses something essential: the feeling of being seen, present, and accepted. Number 8. Montana. Picture-perfect scenery, but not for everyone. Montana is vast and white like an untouched snow painting, making you feel like you're living in a cowboy movie, but without the film crew. With just over 1.1 million people, it's the 4th largest state by area. Yet if you're looking for a friendly chat, you might have to travel all day. Data shows that less than 1% of Montana's population is Black. That means you're more likely to encounter a bear than a soul food restaurant or a Black church for a familiar atmosphere. Montana's beauty is genuinely majestic. The sky seems to stretch infinitely, mountains rise dramatically, and lakes shine like turquoise gems. Yet this beauty can also be a barrier. It lacks the things that foster a sense of belonging for Black people. No substantial community, no cultural centers, and no spaces to connect or share experiences. Someone who once visited Montana shared, "I've never felt lonelier. It was as if I was the only person in town listening to my kind of music." Peacefulness is a gift, but when community is absent, that silence can become a heavy burden. Number 7. West Virginia, where time stands still and opportunities walk away. Have you ever visited a place and felt like you've taken a wrong turn into the past? As if you left 2025 behind and accidentally found yourself back in 1973. That's exactly how it feels when you first set foot in West Virginia, a place where time seems to move more slowly, and everything remains as if no one is in a hurry to grow up. With a population of 1.7 million, West Virginia has plenty of space, perhaps too much. But what makes many people, especially within the Black community, hesitant to live here isn't just the emptiness. It's the profound lack of opportunities and connections. Only about 3.6% of West Virginia's residents are Black. There's no significant community, no familiar cultural presence, and limited ways to find yourself in this environment. Economically, things aren't looking much better. Once a bustling coal mining hub, West Virginia now feels like an old radio that's lost its signal, quiet, outdated, and struggling to keep up with the world. Household income hovers just above $53,000 per year. Jobs are scarce, and career paths are unclear. For young people, especially Black residents, this is not the ideal place to start a new journey. Someone who once left West Virginia said, "I didn't leave because I hated the place. I left because I couldn't see myself here. No future, no community, nothing holding me back." Though the natural beauty is picturesque, lush green forests, winding roads like ribbons, scenery alone can't fill the void of loneliness, the lack of diversity, or a disconnected life. Number 6, Idaho, the land of potatoes and cultural emptiness. Have you ever stood in a place so quiet that you could hear your own thoughts? In Idaho, that feeling isn't unusual. With nearly 1.9 million people, this state isn't exactly small, yet its emptiness, in both population and culture, makes it seem completely separated from the rest of America. Here, only about 1.2% of residents are Black. If you're African American, you're less likely to encounter someone who looks like you than to spot a deer strolling through town. And this isn't just a statistic. It's a feeling. It's feeling lost in a place lacking a community, familiar churches, salons, or weekend gatherings where you can breathe a sigh of relief and say, "I'm exactly where I belong." I once heard a young Black person describe a trip to Idaho. "The scenery really is beautiful. Crystal clear lakes, snow-capped mountains straight out of a postcard, but I couldn't see myself there. No future, no sense of safety, and nowhere my voice could be heard." Idaho is famous for potatoes, and yes, they're delicious here. But life demands more than potatoes. It requires connection, recognition, and a welcoming feeling. These are precisely what many Black Americans say they have yet to find here. Whether fair or not, Idaho has historically carried a reputation for being unwelcoming to people of color. When deciding where to move, a nice house or affordable cost isn't everything. The bigger question remains, can I truly be myself here? Number 5, South Dakota. Picture-perfect land, missing connection. Some places instantly welcome you with a familiar atmosphere, lively people, and a vibrant rhythm of life. Then, there are others where you blink, and you've missed the entire town. South Dakota is exactly like that. Quiet, expansive, and sometimes so silent that you begin to wonder, did that tumbleweed rolling by just wave at me? The state's population barely reaches around 920,000 people, and notably just 2.5% are Black. That means if you're African American, the chances of seeing someone who looks like you are so slim that when it finally happens, you might hug each other in sheer relief. A friend once told me, "I drove for 3 straight hours without seeing a single Black person. When I met a woman at a gas station, we looked at each other as if we'd reunited with long-lost relatives." South Dakota embodies old-school rural America, endless roads stretching out to nowhere, gas stations spaced dozens of miles apart, and Wi-Fi signals weaker than if they were transmitted from the year 2005. Much of the state feels like it stepped right out of a cowboy movie. Except horses have given way to trucks and Walmart. The issue isn't merely geographic isolation. it's also cultural. There's no black cultural center, no neighborhood, no gathering spot. First-time visitors often feel cut off from community, more like guests passing through rather than residents here to stay. And when you live in a state leaning strongly conservative in both politics and culture, it further amplifies the sense among people of color that their voices are unheard, or worse, completely unseen. Number 4. North Dakota, where the ice isn't only outside the window. North Dakota is the kind of place where silence can be unsettling. Fields stretch endlessly. The sky is so expansive it seems to swallow every sound, and open spaces are so vast that you can hear the wind whispering like messages from another world. Here, being black is rare, less than 3% of residents, and their presence feels so tenuous that sometimes you might think you're the only one carrying an identity that no one else shares. With roughly 780,000 residents, it's among the least populated states in America. Black residents account for less than 3%, which doesn't form a community. It's more like arriving at a family gathering only to realize you're the sole attendee. Winter in North Dakota isn't simply cold, it's a survival test. At minus 30 degrees Fahrenheit, wind slices through your coat, and eyelashes freeze within minutes. Someone once joked that in North Dakota, you don't just put on a coat, you put on determination just to leave your house. Additionally, urban life here is severely limited. Shopping centers are as rare as finding a proper barbershop for a quality fade haircut in Fargo. Familiar music, foods, or virtually any signs of black culture are practically non-existent. There are no distinct neighborhoods, no culturally specific churches, and no social hubs that let you feel comfortably like yourself. Number 3. New Hampshire, peaceful or forgotten. New Hampshire is the kind of place where you can hear the wind rustling through maple trees, your footsteps echoing on empty streets, and sometimes the quiet whisper of loneliness inside your own heart. With just over 1.4 million people, and roughly 1.8% of them black, this state is almost entirely white. Not just statistically, but in the lived experience of those who reside here. Undeniably, New Hampshire has wonderful things: safety, great schools, and fresh air. But for many African Americans, this place feels like an empty land. No community, no familiar culture, no clear signs indicating that you could belong here. A friend who relocated here for work once told me, "It took 3 weeks to find a barbershop, and 3 months more to have a conversation where I didn't feel like an outsider." There's no soul food, no Juneteenth celebrations, no shared spaces connecting black residents. You're more likely to find maple syrup than a place for genuine conversation. New Hampshire isn't bad. It's just too quiet, too cold, too isolated. And sometimes the chill doesn't come from the snow. It comes from distant glances, from the subtle feeling of, you don't belong here. Number 2, Maine, icy cold in weather and in skin color. Maine paints a stunning winter landscape. Snow-covered pine forests, rugged shorelines, and air so crisp that when you breathe deeply, you also inhale solitude itself. With approximately 1.3 million residents, it ranks among America's least populated states. More notably, only around 1.7% of the population is black. If you're African American, living in Maine often feels less like a warm welcome and more like a polite whisper. Maybe you've arrived at the wrong party. There's no established black community, no familiar churches, no soul food, and no cultural events to make you feel truly visible. Just deer quietly stepping through the forest, morning mist, and polite yet distant glances. A friend who moved to Portland, Maine for work shared this experience. After 3 months, I realized no one had once pronounced my name correctly in meetings. They meant no harm. They simply didn't see me as part of the usual picture here. Then there's the job situation. Unless you're involved in lobster fishing or tourism, career options quickly narrow. Combined with brutally long freezing winters, Maine can often make you feel marginalized. not only geographically, but emotionally as well. Number 1. Alaska, wild paradise or cultural void. Alaska is a place where nature leaves you breathless with its beauty, but also speechless with its emptiness. With just 730,000 people scattered across an area twice the size of Texas, many towns here are so quiet you can walk for miles without encountering another soul. And meeting another black person? That's even rarer than catching sight of the northern lights. Only about 3.2% of Alaska's population is black, and that doesn't form a community. Instead, it creates a sense of living in a parallel universe, a place with no shared voice, no familiar culture, and no helping hand when you need connection or comfort. Imagine living somewhere that reaches negative 40 degrees Fahrenheit, where your eyelashes freeze the moment you step outside. A place where sunlight disappears for months at a time, and if you want to visit a Target, you might have to drive 6 hours. No, that's not a metaphor. The cost of living here matches the weather, cold and unforgiving. A gallon of milk might cost you $7. Jobs outside oil, fishing, or government are as rare as finding a black barbershop in the taiga forest. A former Anchorage resident once said, "Nobody hated me, but nobody understood me either. I was there, but I never really felt seen." We've just explored 10 states in America, places where, for many Black Americans, it's difficult to feel at home. Not because someone pushed them away, but because nothing was there to hold them in place. No community, no culture, no familiarity, only prolonged silences as cold as winter and as empty as deserted fields. But everyone's perspective is different. Perhaps for you, that peaceful solitude and wilderness are exactly what you treasure. What about you? Have you ever lived somewhere that made you feel invisible? Or, conversely, truly yourself? Share your experiences in the comments below, because sometimes a single shared story can warm the heart of someone who's feeling lost. If you found this content meaningful and want to continue exploring ordinary yet impactful stories, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell so you won't miss our upcoming videos. Thanks for watching to the end. See you in the next journey.